probably would get the assent of many reformers, but they're expensive. And we could go through the laundry list, but for example, hiring business managers in 1,600 schools, a master teacher academy, building up community schools, all of these are big ticket items. Where's the money going to come from?
Some of them are big ticket items, some of them are not. For example, having an infrastructure, a core of kind of business manager types, controller types people to help out administrators so they can focus more on managing the educational imperatives of their school doesn't cost an enormous amount of money. We're not talking about one of them for every school. You don't necessarily need one of them for every school, but someone who can focus on the business aspects of running the school. Some of them may wind up costing a little more. Look, I think that everyone has their priorities. I have talked a great deal about lowering the cost of healthcare, for example, in our city by creating a single-payer healthcare system that takes a lot of the money that we pay for healthcare, saving a good portion of it by not outsourcing it to insurance companies, keeping the money here contained. I don't think that there has been a shortage of expenditure of money on schools. I frankly think that the money that we're spending, I think, can be spent a lot more wisely. But something else has to happen. There was a time, when my mother, again, not to use her as an example for everything I say about teaching, but we benefited from her in the school system for 31 years. She was a master's in finance. She represented the top percentage of her graduating class because, frankly, women of her generation, they could be secretaries, they could be nurses, or they could be teachers. So we were able to shop from the top 5% of women graduating colleges at the time. Well, if we're going to get back to that, we can't do that anymore. Now Goldman Sachs is shopping from the top 5%, and we keep having to slip further in. We may have to compensate teachers better, but not necessarily just in the form of cash. Giving them more of a career ladder, for example. Giving them more of an opportunity to express their own outcomes. Giving them more flexibility in the workplace. These are things that we have to examine. I'll tell you, not too many teachers coming into the school system today are interested in their pension in 20 years. A lot of them are saying, listen, I'm going to try to be a teacher here for a few years. I'm going to devote some energy to it. There are a lot of people who want to come into the school system who are experts in their field, but because they didn't have an education background, we have to change. And I know it might be heresy to some, but we have to change this notion of first thing you've got to be as an educator, and then we'll train you to do the other things. Well, nowadays maybe we want people who are computer programmers, and we take a master teacher and train them on how to teach that. We have to change the way we look at these things, and not all of them cost more money.